Welcome to Artist at Work. We're at the Channel 32 studios in Northborough, and with me is Irene Mossman, also from Northborough, and Irene is a basket maker. And welcome to Channel 32. We're very happy to have you at Artist at Work.
Thanks, Bonnie.
And Irene will be doing a demonstration for us, but before we go to that, I wanted to ask you, first of all, when did you come to Northborough?
We moved to Northborough in 1940.
1940?
Yes.
Oh, then you're a native.
So practically.
Yes.
Yeah. And I went through the Northborough school system, and my husband and I decided to settle here after we were married, right.
Well, Irene has had a very rich career, and I kind of want to...
Spare time. After I stopped teaching and doing nursing, I decided that I would take a course in basketry, which I did, and I loved it. It was like I had woven in another life.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I think the first year that I was doing basketry, I don't believe a day went by that every single day.
It sounds as if you were captured by the craft.
I sure was.
Yeah, you're teaching, I understand.
Yes, I teach in my home, and I have taught for the YWCA in Westboro. I've also done demonstrations for various groups in the surrounding communities.
Very nice, very nice. Well, Irene and I were talking earlier, and one thing that I think is particularly interesting is her philosophy about the craft. And I wonder if you could tell us something about how is it that you approach a basket? You're about to start one. I think this is very interesting for anybody working in craft.
Well, I think for anyone who is doing solitary work, that applies to anybody who is doing any kind of artwork or writing. I think that it takes a great deal of self-discipline to work alone.
I would agree. Yes.
For me, I do better when I structure my time.
Yeah.
And so I have, I suppose, a routine. When I get up in the morning, I dress as though I were going out to business, and I get whatever work I'm going to do at home completed, and then I go to my workshop and I work. And I might work for 3 hours, maybe I'll work for 5 hours. But I think, too, that you have to develop an attitude towards your work. You really have to think about centering yourself.
This is the key word, I think, yes. Tell me more about that.
I have to focus in on what I'm going to do. If I have already started a basket, for example, the night before, I may decide that I have to complete that basket today. If I don't want to complete that one and I want to do something else, then I may decide what I'm going to do, what supplies I need, get everything ready to do that, and actually think about how I'm going to create that thing, in my case, that basket.
Do you see it in your mind beforehand?
Sometimes I do, and yet on the other hand, sometimes baskets just happen.
They evolve into something unique. I wonder if you might show us. There's sort of a negative connotation to basket weaving, that it's perhaps, I have to watch what I say here, perhaps trivial, or that it doesn't require a lot of skill or something. And I'm sure you come up against this when you run into people. Yeah. How do you feel about that, or how do you handle that?
I think that's true. I think that some people do have the idea that basket weaving is for people who have been ill, who need a class in occupational therapy, who do this to fill time, when essentially, if you stop and think about basketry, it's probably the oldest craft in the world.
More than likely.
Because baskets were required to carry items in. They were also used as service baskets to store, as containers to store things. the history of basketry, especially in North America, is very interesting.
When you're teaching, do you get into this? Do you teach a basket as a historic piece, or?
Not necessarily, although as we go along, I'm apt to tell something about the history of basketry, why a particular basket is made the way it is. For example, this is a gathering basket. We know it as an Appalachian melon basket, or some people call it a buttocks basket because of the shape of the bottom. But it is essentially a gathering basket, and it's designed in this way so that it can be carried on the hip.
I see. That makes sense, yes.
And then you could gather into it. This particular basket is a berry basket. Obviously, your berries have to be large.
I think you called this a New England berry basket earlier. This is the basket that Irene will be building for us later, and you know, you may actually be able to gather supplies and follow along. So we're hoping that can happen.
This will be the one we demonstrate.
Why is it a New England berry basket?
I really don't know, except that it's a traditional square bottom to round top basket.
Oh, I see. The transition from square to round.
That's correct.
All right. Yeah.
It probably was originally designed as by the Shakers, who had a large colony in New England.
Would this basket be all different sizes? It's more this shape, and then in a variety of sizes.
You know, once you learn this basic technique, then you can make this any size that you wish, from the small basket to a large market basket.
Actually, can we look at the round basket that you have here?
Yeah.
This is an exquisite basket that I don't think any of us have ever really thought about the complexity of something like this when we see it.
This basket is designed as a round basket, obviously, and it is made first as a very plain basket. And all of this curling is put on after the basket is made.
When you would create one of these, would you start out saying, this is a sewing basket?
This is a sewing basket.
Would you start out saying, today I'm going to do a sewing basket? And
I would probably think about making the sewing basket and then deciding how large I wanted to make it, and then whether or not I wanted to leave it plain, or if in fact I wanted to do the curling.
All right.
And as I said earlier, sometimes baskets just evolve. This might start out as a simple round basket.
Oh, show the inside.
And there's the inside of this particular basket. You can also see what happens as reed ages. Can you see the difference?
Yeah, there's quite a difference in value there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's simply from being out in the air and the sunlight. So I might decide, all right, I'm going to do this round basket. And as it starts to evolve, I may decide, gee, I really like the shape of that, and that would make a neat sewing basket. So I might finish it off as a sewing basket, make the little baskets to go on the inside.
Attach them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then if I've come that far and I've decided that I'm going to do a sewing basket, then I also have to think in terms of the top, because most sewing baskets have covers.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Oh, I
Absolutely
love this
beautiful.
basket.
Yeah. Irene, you've enlightened me already. How about if we get started on the demonstration? Artist at Work is very pleased to present Irene Mossman as she builds a New England berry basket.
The first thing that you want to do is to put on an apron or smock, something to protect your clothing. And you want to assemble your tools. This is a needle nose pliers, an awl, another type of awl that is really a citrus peeler but works very well, another awl, a pair of side cutters, pencil, sharp scissors, tape measure, ruler, and this is a bone awl, and this is an indelible marker. when you buy tools, make sure that you buy needle nose pliers and cutters that have different colored handles. I have inadvertently picked up side cutters when I wanted needle nose pliers and cut my reed.